Hi everyone, it's Kelly from the Hub. I am here today with Judy Wechter, the site administrator for PA CareerLink in Lancaster County. Judy, how are you?
I am fabulous. Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing well. Judy is still in the Northern Lights, as you can see. She really does get all around, and so that's what we love about her.
I am racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Heck yeah! So today we're talking about interviews. I think for everybody out there that they're so excited, they're getting a lot of skills and they're learning about all the services that you guys offer, and now they've got personal services, so they've walked through the whole job process and now they've landed an interview. So now what? I think I have a lot of questions, but you start first and then we'll just see how things work out.
Well, first of all, if you've landed the interview, you have the golden ticket. Congratulations. It certainly is an effort to get to that interview. And if you indeed have been invited for one, again, congratulations. But actually, the work that goes into having a great interview, of course, happens before the interview itself. And that is already, you have the resume done, you've already done all the prep work that you need to do, but getting ready for the interview is totally a different animal. And let me explain that. First and foremost, the most important thing is that you need to be prepared for an interview with someone who is going to be asking you questions about a specific job, as well as what is your background that relates to that specific job. So preparation is the most important thing. The interviewer is going to be prepared, so you need to be prepared. And one of the places that you can start is to know inside and out the job description. They're going to be asking you questions directly related to that specific job. And if you don't have that specific experience, you need to be able to communicate the experience you have as relatable. So unless you truly understand the job itself and what skill set they're looking for, you're not going to be in the best position to relate what experience you have to that specific job.
I think a lot of people walk into the interview pretty cocky that they should just get the job. So
Nope.
yeah, how do you get prepared? So I read up on the job description and make sure that my skills go with it. Should I look up the company? Should I should I read the news about them? Should I do that stuff?
Well, first of all, you should be, before you even get to the interview, you should have already looked up the information about the company to determine if you even want to apply for a job and work there. So that should have already been done. You should have looked up the job, know that that's a company you want to target, whether this is the exact position you want or not, but this is the company that you have targeted. That should have already been done. So you need to be able to have a conversation about you, your experiences, and the job itself. One of the most important things to do, Kelly, is to give examples. So if an interviewer says, so tell me a little bit about your reliability. And for the job seeker, the interviewee would say, oh yeah, I'm really reliable. Well, that's not very specific. What you can say is something like, reliability is certainly one of my strong points. The position I held before, I was there for 10 years, and all 10 years I had perfect attendance. So I am very reliable, and look at bringing that to this job in your company. So you need to be able to be a little bit more specific, because you have to remember, everybody who is interviewing for the job basically has the same skill set that you do. Because obviously they're going to be screening the candidates. They're going to be picking a group of people that have basically the same things. So you have to be able to connect and convince them that you are the right fit for the job. But in order to convince them, you need to convince yourself. Practice, practice, practice in front of a mirror. For example, one of the most important questions that is asked during an interview is, tell me a little bit about yourself. You should be totally prepared to give an answer, and do it in the mirror. What do you look like? What do you want to project? Again, you are looking to be above everyone else, and that's going to be if you are the right fit.
So one of the basic questions that we got to talk about here is, what do you wear? Because I've interviewed people who've been perfectly dressed for the job, and people who I've interviewed who I was like, did you just finish gardening? Because I think there's dirt on your clothes. Now, I'm not saying a suit and tie is perfect for every job interview, but can you give us some tips on like how to do it right?
Absolutely. And you make a good point. A suit and a tie at one point in time was the standard uniform. The tie, obviously not for women, but for both men and women, a suit or a coordinating pants and jacket or skirt and jacket was the uniform for interviewing. Not so much today. However, you need to really understand the company as well as the job. So for example, if it might be a job for selling to a lumber company, and the responsibilities are primarily going out to visit lumber companies in a 3-state radius, it may very well be that the dress code is casual. So they may be very comfortable with someone coming in dress pants and a shirt, not necessarily a tie and a coat. I've even had individuals here at the center who said, I was told that I can wear jeans to the interview. And although that's great, I probably would pair it, sound like a fashion expert, I'd probably pair it with a nice shirt, or even a shirt and a jacket without a tie. Nice shoes. Again, you want to be able to present yourself in the best way. How you look to them is the only way that they can gauge what kind of employee you are going to be. So if you are taking very little time to prepare yourself visually, they're probably going to have some questions on how prepared are you going to be on the work site. So you need to be able to know what is appropriate. It shouldn't be anything that you would wear out to a nightclub. It shouldn't be anything that you wear for gardening. It shouldn't be anything too casual. You need to know your audience for sure, but
you wear to sleep in.
Oh yeah, and no pajamas. Although I will say the fashion concerning pajamas has changed over the years, but no pajamas. If you don't know what to do, always, you can never go wrong with a suit, pants, skirt, and a jacket that either coordinates or matches. You will never go wrong. And again, how you present yourself is the only thing the employer can go on to determine how you would be in the work site and the job.
I know that there are probably people who are watching who say, well, that's not fair. And you know what? I would agree with that. Sometimes it's not fair that how you dress. However, you're making a first impression, and you want that first impression to be the best impression that you can give. So we totally understand that. And for those people who have a hard time, finding a place to be able to get some clothes, there are lots of ways and lots of alternatives to be able to get clothes in a very reasonable way.
First and foremost, if you
absolutely.
really are having difficulty concerning clothing, contacting the hub, contacting CareerLink, please reach out. Both of us would make sure that you have something that is appropriate. And listen, I wore the same black suit on every interview I went to. You know why? Because that employer had no idea that 2 days before I wore the exact same suit. So you don't have to have a variety of clothes unless you're called back more than once. Then I would just change up the blouse, to be honest with you. but the employers don't know what you looked like to your last interview. So find something, stick with it, clean. You're golden if that's what you do.
I do want to ask you something about questions or things that you shouldn't offer as on your first interview, like things you shouldn't talk about because they're not your employer's business to know, and you just shouldn't really talk about those things. Some people like to reveal, they want to reveal more about themselves to make themselves stand out, but sometimes those questions can be really uncomfortable. So what kinds of things should we not talk about?
So one of the things that you should not talk about are things that are personal to you and not related to the job itself. Every response that you give should be directly related to that job, whether it's something specific about you or relatable about you to the job and what they are looking for. Listen, I have been on a number of interviews where you click right away with the person, right away, and you think, gosh, we should be going out for coffee. We're getting along so good. But don't be fooled by that. It is still first and foremost an interview. So you have to be really diligent and you have to prepare yourself to answer those questions that are specific, answer the questions in a way that are specific to the job, to your skill set, what is transferable. Paint a picture for them on how you would be in this job at this company. You can clearly, if you feel comfortable, you can clearly use comfortable words and language and posturing to paint this picture of why you would be the best fit for the organization. But if they start to ask you a question about your last job, you don't need to go into every specific detail. You almost have to pretend like you're in a courtroom and you are asked a question on the stand. Answer the question you are asked. You don't need to supply any other information. If they need more, they'll continue to ask questions. But just remember to only answer what they ask you. If they want more, they'll probe more.
Excellent. All right. My last question for you is this. Send a thank you email / card, or is that just old-fashioned?
Oh, there is nothing old-fashioned about building relationships, Kelly. There is nothing old-fashioned. What really has changed is what is the acceptable method for this communication and relationship building. And that can be debated. Of course, I am from the generation, and here at CareerLink, they will still recommend that you write a thank you note, a handwritten thank you note. In this day and age, the email can certainly be an acceptable way to express your appreciation. And of course, if you take the workshop, thank you notes and applications, cover letters, they'll give you specific templates for those thank you notes. So you want to make sure you look at that as far as a workshop to do from the YouTube PA CareerLink library. That's a good one to get templates from if you don't know. But you want to be able to express appreciation for the time that they took, express that you are very much interested in the position, and indicate that you're going to be following up to determine if they've made a decision or what is the next step. So absolutely, positively, building relationships is never outdated. How you do it, the options, that's certainly debatable with the times.
Wonderful. So if I'm prepared and I'm doing all this stuff, but I've got questions, can I just call over to CareerLink and say, hey, I have a question about this upcoming interview. Can I walk it through with you so I feel more confident?
Absolutely, positively. First of all, I want to remind everyone that we have 3 interactive virtual workshops. And those are workshops through Zoom where you're able to interact with the presenter. And lo and behold, one of those is Ace the Interview. And they take place every Wednesday at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, if you call here, 717-509-5613, we'll be more than happy to help you obtain the information you need to get into this interactive virtual workshop. But if for some reason this is not what you can do, but you still want to be able to talk to someone else, yeah, give us a call. And we're going to put you in touch with one of our instructors here at CareerLink so they could be able to answer questions that you have. Because first and foremost, we don't want you to miss out on an opportunity. Even if this interview just pops up and you think, oh gosh, I didn't expect it at this period of time. No worries. Give us a call and we will make sure that you get to speak with someone that can help you. But Ace the Interview every Wednesday at 1:30, interactive virtual workshop. Give us a call. We'll help you get into that. We'll tell you what the link is to get into Zoom. But the most important thing is don't think you're doing this alone. We are here to help.
Awesome. As always, Judy, always good stuff to learn. Thank you very much. And next week, we're going to talk about something else super exciting about the job universe.
Yes, we are going to talk about something exciting in the job universe. I think, Kelly, maybe we can pick employment over the age of 50.
Ooh,
what do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sounds great. Have a lovely weekend, my dear. See ya.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye.